Hey, Weekly Walk viewers, we're going to get to the background in a minute because Kathleen, I was saying that this is sacrilegious that I have this background on my computer. But before we get there, I am here with Kathleen Randall, and you were most recently EVP of North America at SureCloud, and now you have sort of joined the dark side of consulting and advising all around GRC, which I've never had a weekly walk around GRC. So I'm excited to talk to you about that. But first and foremost, we are in front of the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, and you are in Texas right now.
We are, which technically actually, because I now have to be very specific, because now you called out because it's actually the practice facility in Frisco, Texas. Facility. There's a whole restaurant built out around it, but this is where they practice.
Okay.
So the field that you're seeing is kind of where you can run around with your kids, but all the magic happens inside those blue walls in terms of getting ready for the big game. So yes.
All right. Yes. And as a native Houstonian, I grew up to really dislike the Cowboys, and now as a Patriots fan as well. But for you, I am happy to join you here in Frisco.
I mean,
only for you though.
I feel so special.
Only for you, because you're going to tell us all about GRC. So I guess let's start with the most important question is, what is GRC and why is it so important?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about kind of the misnomer. So like if you were to sit and Google it, right, it's just very simple. Governance, all the people that make the rules, the policies, the making sure that things are happening in order, risk management and compliance. But I mean, look, this thing is not new. We've had auditors and people asking us questions around like, hey, did you check this box for years and years and years? So really what's happened, especially which is in today's day and age, and we feel it now during this pandemic with the change of what's happening in terms of the market conditions being so volatile, politics, geopolitical stuff, just, obviously things like the pandemic and certainly the advent of explosion of data and tech and cloud. It's really been less about that. So kind of GRC is the old world, even though we still use it now. We typically talk about it now as integrated risk management, which is really this concept where compliance is just one thing to worry about, but like in today's day and age, if your eye, go with the football analogy, if your eye on the ball is just on regulations, you're totally missing the boat. It needs to be about all these things coming at you from left and right, trying to figure out how to work past them to make sure that your business is making the right decisions overall in terms of executing your strategy. So it's really about the practice of risk and compliance. Now with all things, it's people, process, and technology. But when most people refer to GRC, they're talking about the management tools, the tech around the product. So, but I think for this conversation, we probably will talk a little bit about that.
I would say we could probably have a couple of conversations around this, but so I recently, and you just alluded to this a little bit, but recently had read a report about how the GRC market size is expected to increase more this year than ever before. And, presumably to your point, the shift to digital and the pandemic, but do you see that as the primary increase and sort of why this market size is expected to grow at that rate? Or was it sort of the rumblings of it as just overall, more people are, going through these digital transformations and there's just more happening in it? Or is it
it's spot on and great question, Casey. And you're right. It's really multifactorial. I mean, the ability to kind of stay true with all the stuff you have to worry about from compliance, but also all these different risks. So your vendor risk, what's going on in terms of your operations, what's happening with your supply chain with said political whatever, or said, hurricane coming. It's just impossible to do that manually. And so even the smallest of companies realize that spreadsheets are just not going to cut it. But if you really look at the other side of the market, so the people who are early and adopters or who really know about, trying to be leaders in the market, they look at this like, what, we have to invest in getting this view of risk, because if we don't, there's really two thought processes there. People who really know this stuff is, one, you're either going to take advantage of the market opportunity, understand the risk, and figure out how to shift your game plan to address that risk, or you're just SOL. You're going to get pummelled in the face with something you didn't really realize. And so I'm going strong with, I'm not even a football player, but I'm going to go
You're like, I'm loving it. You're staying on theme with the background. So I That's that. I love it. I love it. All right. I'm going to break the Weekly Rock rules because normally I only ask 3 questions, but I actually have one other question for you kind of on this particular topic is, you do a lot of advising and consulting with companies around this topic. What is the biggest mistake you've seen companies make when it comes to these GRC implementations? I'm sure there could potentially be a few of them, but what's the biggest one that you see?
Yeah, no, this is the number one thing that I get asked to talk about at conferences and to come and talk to my clients. And so I actually did on my LinkedIn profile, did 3 of a 5-step masterclass series on just this. So you can kind of unpack that a little bit more, but I would say I'm going to only pick one.
All right.
The one that I would pick is just, basically not really aligning and understanding technology and how that's going to balance the real people processes that you have in place. And so really the mistake that I see made time and time again is the company is asking for tech that is totally not aligned with what they can even bite off with their people process. So they're asking for a rocket ship when they can they're barely getting their driver's license. Or the vice versa, is they also don't understand that tech can actually, if you're not realizing that it's this really awesome thing that can do better than humans in today's risk management. So if they're not realizing that they can grab hold of these new ideas around predictive analytics and kind of looking around the corner, then they also are not taking advantage of that. And really all they're doing is trying to make their spreadsheet go faster, which I think is also a missed opportunity too as well.
For sure. Well, everyone has to go check out your masterclass on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So sorry, a little bit of a plug there.
No, that's great. Hey, that's what the weekly walks are for. If you can't plug what you're doing, what's the point, right?
What's the point? Yeah.
All right. My last question for you is, given that it's fall, although obviously fall where I am right now and in fall where you are a little bit different, but what is your favorite fall activity to do, whether with the kids?
Oh man, I'm on public, right? So
So
no, I mean, look, and so if anybody hasn't spent time in Texas, it is hot here, like really hot. And our fall weather is just like for a minute that it's perfect. And you get that light sweater weather. For us, it's, parkas. We don't own parkas here.
Yeah.
So I would say our perfect fall activity is I like to be outside, and I've got 2 young kids. And so we are bike riding, we're going to the creeks, we're going to parks, and we're going to places like this and throwing around a ball. But look, let's just be clear. I'm in the South. It is college football time. So whether that's an excuse to get together on a patio and have a few glasses of wine, or to go to a game and tailgate, I don't know if that's even possible nowadays, but that's our thing here.
Things to look forward to. Yes, football season is definitely, I can attest, a big thing down south.
Yes, Friday night lights is not a myth.
It's not a myth, people, as an original Texan, and also from one Texan to another. So
yeah, 100%.
Kathleen, it was so great having you. Like I said, only one person I would have a sacrilegious background for is you. So thank you for joining me and talking all things GRC, and Weekly Walk viewers. We'll see y'all soon. Bye, guys.